Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good evening everyone and good morning everyone. Today we're going to be doing the Monday Sutta discussion for the 79th time, and today is day 79, and the topic for today is going to be 4 angry people similar to poisonous snakes. And I think I'm gonna make it a little bit clear that here poisonous snakes clearly mean vipers actually. Vipers are really more dangerous than any other snakes in this context. So āsīvisā means vipers. So, but I shortly mentioned it to be snakes, because rather not pinpointing one particular snake, but āsīvisā simply means vipers. So the sutta is also Āsīvisa Sutta. Now in the Sutta Pitaka, we can see there are 2 main Āsīvisa Suttas. In one sutta we understand someone who is stuck in the sansara, and that is what we can see in this Samyutta Nikaya. That is one Āsīvisa Sutta, but the other one is what we're going to be talking today. So this appears in the Chatukka Nipata, that means the 4th section of Anguttara Nikaya, and the sutta number is 110, and you can click on the link to see a quick view of the sutta in multiple languages: Chinese, Mandarin, Burmese, I guess in many other languages, but you can see the English translation when you click on that link particularly. Okay, so now the topic with this Āsīvisa Sutta is 4 angry people similar to poisonous snakes, or I would say vipers. Let's take a look at the sutta. Chattaro me bhikkhave āsīvisā katame chattaro. That means, monks, there are these 4 kinds of vipers. What 4? Āgata viso na ghora viso. Ghora viso na āgata viso. Āgata visocha ghora visocha. Nevāgata viso na ghora viso. Imeko bhikkhave chattaro āsīvisā. So there are 4 vipers, vipers. So there are 4 kinds of vipers. Who are they? The first viper, one whose venom or poison is fast acting but not lethal. That means this kind of viper's poison, I would say venom, is fast acting but not lethal. The second kind of viper is one whose venom is lethal but not fast acting. That means the second viper's the venom is lethal, but it is not fast acting across the body. The third one whose venom is both fast acting and lethal. That's kind of a worse case. That means this kind of vipers, venom, both venom and the nature of how it circulates inside the body, they both appear. So that means both fast acting and lethal. The fourth one whose venom is neither fast acting nor lethal. I mean, we had to find out what kind of a viper is that. Anyway, so in short, I would say venomous but not fierce, the fierce but not venomous, both venomous and fierce, neither venomous and no fierce. So these are the 4 kinds of vipers that we can see. And the Buddha says that there are similar people like these 4 kinds of vipers, right? That means there are people who can be classified, who can be broken down into these particular 4 vipers. But before I move on to that, I want to tell you the meaning of āsīvisa in some details. And then we will be digging into those 4 people with the sutta. So far we have only talked about the 4 kinds of vipers. So the first viper has venom, which is fast acting but not lethal. The second one's venom is lethal but not fast acting. The third one has the both fast acting and lethal. The fourth one is neither fast acting. Fourth one's venom is neither fast acting nor lethal. And we also said that there are 4 similar people. But let's get into the meaning of this particular word called āsīvisa. Now we don't see a kind of a specific meaning to this particular name for the viper, but we have some different meanings we could find out in the suttas and the commentaries, Attakathas. Āsīvisa, āsitta visa. So one explanation is āsitta visa. That means be sprinkled with venom. So there is an interpretation where you can see a viper can sprinkle venom. So in that case, we say āsitta visa. We could say āsīvisa has one interpretation, which means the viper can sprinkle with venom. The second one, asita visa, with eaten venom, because whatever it eats become venomous. So how does the consistency of the venom make up inside the body of the viper? In that perspective also, āsīvisa has been interpreted. The third one is āsīvisa visa, with sword-like venom. So sword-like venom, which means sword-like means how sharp the venom is. So in the way also, it is taken as an interpretation āsīvisa visa. So sprinkle with venom. That is one interpretation for āsīvisa. The second one is whatever the things that the particular viper eats become venom. So in that perspective too. And the third one is, the strength of the venom. It's like sword-like. Āsu sīgang etasya visang āgacchati iti āsīvisa. So that means the venom spreads across, so fast. So that is one kind of meaning of the āsīvisa. Now let's go back to the sutta. Eva mevako bhikkhave chattaru me āsīvisūpamā puggala santo sangvichamana lokasmi. Katame chattaru. There are the 4 kinds of viper. In the same way, these 4 people similar to vipers are found in the world. What 4? Āgata viso ne ghora viso. Ghora viso ne āgata viso. Āgata viso cha ghora viso cha. Neva āgata viso ne ghora viso. So the same the meaning that we understood by different types of vipers, which means one whose venom is fast acting but not lethal, one whose venom is lethal but not fast acting, one whose venom is both fast acting and lethal, and one whose venom is neither fast acting nor lethal. Now we can't still understand who these people are, so let's take a look at the explanations given by the Buddha. Katancha bhikkhave puggalo agata viso hoti no ghora viso. Now Buddha explains the first person similar to the first viper. The first viper is one whose venom is fast acting but not lethal. Ida bhikkhave ekaccho puggalo abinham kucchati. Socha kwassa kodho na digarattan anuseti. Evanko bhikkhave puggalo agata viso hoti na ghora viso. Sayatapiso bhikkhave āsīviso agata viso na ghora viso. Tatupamahang bhikkhave imang puggalam vada. Interesting. And how is a person's venom fast acting but not lethal? Now we have to understand this context in this kind of way. So what's the way we need to understand? Because we know that no human has the venom of a viper, right? But the venom of a viper, the similar kind of venom, I would say venom of a viper can be found in humans in different ways. So there are different ways, mostly related to anger. So anger is what we call here as the venom of a human. So depending on how does someone maintain one's anger, that particular factor is gonna be the venom of humans, because we haven't if we haven't attained anagami, we still have patiga, because in the 10 fetters there are fetters for different attainments like sotapanna, sakadagami, anagami, and arahata. But you can see patiga is still there as far as sakadagami, and only when you become an anagami person, you're gonna I would say abandon, eradicate patiga. That means we all, even the sotapanna person has anger, but I'm not justifying anger. Anger is a big problem. So if we have anger, we will be into one of these vipers in our life. The fourth viper has no fast has venom, which is no fast acting, neither fast acting nor lethal. That is where we should be, right? But anyways, so venom is compared to anger. So based on how different people maintain, control, manage, deal their anger, they will become a viper. So who is this first one? And how is a person's venom fast acting but not lethal? It is when a person is often angry. What's the Pali word? Ida bhikkave ekacho pukkalo abinhang kucchati. So kucchati is become angry, but abinhang is always, often. So it is when a person is often angry, but their anger does not linger long. Though that person has anger, often get angry, but that person does not keep anger. I know there are people who can get angry, can get irritated very fast, but they won't keep it for long. That's good, because they know how to, how to deal with that anger, right? So this particular first person, who is similar to the first viper, is often angry, but she does not linger that anger. That is how a person's venom is fast acting but not lethal. So the problem is, now we have to compare venom to anger, or anger to venom. So then if regardless of you become angry or not, in this case whenever you get angry, but if you can overcome that anger in a certain specific time, then you will be someone who makes up the first category of the vipers, right? So the first category of the vipers mean they have venom, which means anger. So as long as we have anger, we have venom, right? So but the nice thing is that, the wonderful thing is that we know that we should not linger long in that particular anger. We should not stay in that anger, because we have to get back to metta, right? So if you are a person who gets angry, who always gets angry, but you are not staying angry, you are not continue to become angry, you are not continue to stay angry, that means this is the first person, and you are the first, you represent the first kind of viper. second viper and how it is going to be compared to a person. Katancha bhikkhave puggalo ghora viso hoti na agata viso. And how is a person's venom lethal but not fast acting? Ida bhikkhave ekacho puggalo na heva ko abinham kuchati. Socha kwassa kodo digarattan anuseti. Evanko bhikkhave puggalo ghora viso hoti na agata viso. Sayatapiso bhikkhave āsīviso ghora viso na agata viso. Tatupamaham bhikkhave imam pukkalang vadami. So this is kind of chaotic. This is dangerous. Now this particular person, because the second viper has this problem. The second viper, who is the second viper? Whose venom is lethal but not fast acting. Right? It is when a person is not often angry, but their anger lingers for a long time. There are people who don't get angry, who don't always get angry, but in case they become angry, they keep it for a long time, which is not good, right? So that's the second type of viper and how it is compared to a human. The third one has the both. The venom, the anger is both lethal and then fast acting. Katancha bhikkhave puggalo agata visocha hoti ghora visocha. Ida bhikkhave ekacho puggalo abinham kuchati. So abinham means always. Kuchati, get angry, become angry. Socha kwassa kodo digarattan anuse. Evanko bhikkhave puggalo agata visocha hoti ghora visocha. Sayatapiko bhikkhave āsīviso agata visocha ghora visocha. Tatupamaham bhikkhave imam pukkalang vadami. It's clear that this third kind of viper has the both. And how is a person's venom both fast acting and lethal? It is when a person is often angry and their anger lingers for a long time. So that means it's the worst kind of viper, and if a human is like that, and it's the worst, and he or she is the worst, right? The fourth one has no issues, right? The fourth one is fourth one's venom neither fast acting nor but why the fourth one has venom? That means someone who has not still attained anagami. That means that person still has anger, but the nicest thing is that person is not make it a problem, right? That person does not get angry. It is when a person is not often angry. That means she can get angry, but she's not getting always angry, so that even they get angry, that anger does not linger long. So that means they are not misusing their anger. They are not mismanaging their anger, which is venom, and so it won't it won't give them any big time. Okay, so these are the four kinds of vipers and the related people. So what I understand is that being the people who have not attained anagami, I guess you have to be true and honest to yourself. We fall into one of these viper categories. So why did Buddha take viper? Why didn't he take cobra? So that's interesting. So in order to understand that interesting point, we will be digging into different things. The first thing is, could anyone remember Kanda Paritta? Kanda Paritta. So in the Kanda Paritta, we get to find out an incident. The incident was, there was a monk, I guess at Jetavanarama, in a temple where Buddha was living, and that monk was bitten by a snake and he passed away. And then the other monks informed the Buddha, and the Buddha said, this monk did not spread loving kindness, practice metta specifically towards four reptiles, 4 kinds of reptiles. I would say 4 snakes. Now the thing is, who are they? Virupakkehi me mettan era patehi me, chabya puttehi me mettan kanha gautam kehi. So these are the 4 types of reptile, I would say snakes. So the first one is called Virupakka. So Virupakka, we know Virupakka is one of the 4 guardian deities. We call them, one of the deities who live in the Chatu Maharajika. But at the same time, Virupakka is also the Lord, the head god of the Naga world, right? So basically we say Virupakka means lordly cobras. So lordly cobras who follow the deity Virupakka. So the followers of Virupakka, deity Virupakka. So basically Virupakka means lordly cobras who live in this earth. Who are Airapatas? Airapatas are pythons, the big snake, pythons. Chabyaputte Chabyaputte means vipers. So vipers will be meant by Āsīvisa. So Chabyaputte means vipers and adders. So who are the adders? Now this snake we know who is the only venomous snake in Britain. That means the only venomous snake who is a native to Britain. But basically, when you talk about vipers, now these vipers are specifically about, in the Indian context, we know this Russell's viper. Now in India, we know a lot of people die, especially from snake bites. They die from vipers, not from cobras. So when you compare the ratio. So that means Chabyaputa means 2 types of snakes, vipers and adders. So adders we can see in Britain, in the European area, but vipers, basically Russell's viper. So lordly cobras, Virupakka means lordly cobras, Airapata means pythons, and Chabyaputa means vipers and adders. Kanha Gautama means royal family of Nagas. Now this could include many other reptiles. So the monk passed away because he did not practice metta specifically towards these 4 snakes. Virupakka means lordly cobras, Airapata means pythons, Chabyaputa means vipers and adders, Kanha Gautama means royal family of Nagas. So they are called Ahiraja Kulas. That means the great snake kings. So we need to practice, when we practice metta, this is what we're going to be talking at the end of this sutta discussion. We need to practice metta specifically towards people and the beings. Otherwise, now, as this sutta itself shows us, those animals don't feel that we are practicing metta towards them. Now, when you say, may all beings be happy, it's good. But if you don't specifically understand who they are, especially when it comes to venomous snakes and dangerous kind of animals, so they won't feel it. That is what we understand in this context with the Kanda Parita. So the reason why I picked up Kanda Parita in this discussion for Āsīvisa Sutta, to give you an understanding about the snakes and how they were mentioned in the suttas. That is one place. And when we talk about some commentaries, we know Buddhaghosa. Buddhaghosa has a couple examples about some snakes. And these examples are really, really important when we talk about the other Āsīvisa Sutta, which we know in the Samyutta Nikaya. Now, this Āsīvisa Sutta is in the Anguttara Nikaya. Now, in that Āsīvisa Sutta, Buddha refers to 4 great essentials. I would say Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu. Those 4 essentials to 4 snakes. Now, this is what Buddhaghosa was trying to explain to us. Now, the first snake, which is applied to the element called earth element, is Katta Mukha. So Khatta Mukha is a snake. So what kind of a snake is this? The wooden mouth snake. So what happens when he bites is, now rouses our Patavi element. So it rouses our, this particular wooden mouth snake's bite rouses our Patavi element. So when this particular snake bites us, it rouses our Patavi element, earth element, so that its sting would stiffen our body to be like a dry wood. Now when this particular Kattamukha snakes bite us, what happens is that our body becomes very stiff. That means it affects the Patavi Dhatu, earth element, right? So this is why Buddha compares the 4 snakes towards the Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vaya, the 4 great essentials, Chattara Mahabhutas. The second snake is Putimukha, the putrid mouth. Now, when this particular the putrid mouth snake bites somebody, that bite rouses the Apo element. Let's say the putrid mouth snake bites us, then what happens? It rouses the bite. Because of the bite rouses our Apo element. That means water element, so that our body rots, right? And decaying and oozing like rotting fruit, which means that the influence of that bite, particularly from the putrid mouth snake, is particularly towards the water element of our body. Third snake, Aggimukha, which means the fiery mouth. When this particular snake bites us, that bite burns our body so that it integrates like ashes. So which means this particular third kind of snake, Aggimukha's bite burns our body like ashes. So that means it affects our Tejo Dhatu, which means the heat element. And the fourth kind of snake is Satta Mukha. So Satta Mukha, the dagger mouth. So when this Satta Mukha, the dagger mouth snake bites us, because of that bite, it breaks off our body like a pole struck by lightning. That relates to the motion element, right? Vayu. So now this is why the Buddha relates the 4 great essentials, Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu, to 4 snakes, right? Remember that in that sutta, Buddha says that 4 great essentials are compared to 4 snakes, and the Nandi Raga, that means the Tanha, craving, is compared to somebody who has a sword. This is how they were explaining that sutta. It's a nice sutta, but I want to tell you that I want to share with you how the commentarian, the Buddhaghosa, explained these 4 snakes, and then how they were attached to, how they were compared to the 4 great essentials, what you call earth, heat, earth, water, heat, and motion, right? That's the other thing. And then I will be looking at anger. Okay. Now, our venom is not the venom that we can see in a viper. Our venom is anger. So venom in humans is anger. So what is anger? Now the Pali word for anger is koda. Now we found out the word called kujjati. Kujjati means get angry. Kodo is a noun which means anger. Abhinhang is often, right? Now the thing is, when you go to Abhidhamma, you can see koda is a part of dosa. Now in the discussion of Cetasikas we did a couple of weeks ago, we learned that dosa has 4 Cetasikas. I mean, dosa part has 4 Cetasikas. I mean, akusala Cetasikas. Dosa, which means hatred. Issa means I would say, envy. Maccharya means stinginess. Kukkucha means remorse. But how do we understand koda in here? So koda is a part of dosa. Now we need to study what is the deepest term to understand the degrees, different degrees of aversion. The aversion is what we call dosa. But in the Dhamma, especially when it comes to the Sanyojanas, we know Patigha is the main term for all this. So it says that Patigha includes all degrees of aversion, from violent rage to subtle irritation. Now we could get irritated just for a simple thing, as well as somebody could be very violent, right? So all the different degrees between these two, between that violent rage and subtle irritation, fall into Patigha. So I would say they are the different degrees of aversion. Now, what are the other things to understand? Now we know ill will. Now the thing is that even though Patigha is the broadest term to understand anger, so anger, resentment, what are the other terms? I would say dosa. There are a couple other meanings, a couple other words, right? So they all make up dosa, but the larger, broader term for all this is Patigha. Why I'm telling you Patigha is the term? Because when you are trying to get rid of hatred at the level of Sangyojana, you are not getting rid of dosa or koda. You are going to get rid of Patigha. Right? Even when you go into Abhidhamma, in the analysis of akusala, unwholesome, chittas and other places, you can see Patigha, not dosa. Dosa is there, but basically it says Patigha. So Patigha sometimes is synonymous with Vyapada. Vyapada is, we call it Vyapada too, ill will, thoughts of killing someone. Do we find it in other places? Yes. What is the normal generic use of Vyapada? We know Vyapada appears in the akusala, 10 akusala. It's one of the mental akusala. And we also find out that Vyapada makes up the Panchanivarana. Now, if you want to practice vipassana, we always advise people to practice samatha. In order to practice samatha, you should get rid of 5 hindrances. Kamachanda, Vyapada, Tinamidda, Uddacha, Kukkucha, Vijayicha. So these are the hindrances which always take us away from the reality, take us away from the peace, take us away from unity, take us away from the proper understanding, right? So which means, although we can see dosa, Patigha, and any other different degrees of aversion, but what troubles us, oftentimes is ill will. Because if we get rid of ill will, any other degrees of aversion would not occur. So the thing that we need to get rid in our normal life is ill will, so that your anger, your other degrees of aversion will be taken care of at the same time. So now what I was trying to tell you is that, please keep in mind, Patigha is the broadest term for anger, because that is what you're going to get rid in your spiritual journey to attain Nibbana. So you will get rid of Patigha when you attain Anagami. Even when you attain Sakadagami, it says that you are trying, you will be able to control it to a certain extent, manage it to a certain extent, but it is not a full-fledged elimination or eradication of hatred. So only by attaining Anagami, you will eradicate this patigha. So what you have to understand is that patigha is the broadest term for anger. So when you talk about patigha, it includes everything, and it is not. It does not exclude any type of related anger things. But when you talk about dosa, dosa is the very famous term that we use, that we see in the suttas and the Abhidhamma, which has different degrees. So what are the different degrees? It could be an irritation, it could be an anger, it could be resentment, it could be revenge. Remember the Pali word called, what's the Pali word? Upanaha, right? We talked about these things in our discussion about upakhilesis, right? Remember? So upanaha, that means grudge or taking revenge, resentment, and there are many other terms, many other degrees of hatred. So aversion. So all those degrees of aversion make up patigha. So patigha is the broadest analysis of every type of anger, every type of hatred. But in our normal life, we don't understand patigha, because we don't understand patigha in the sense of clarity. The only thing we can understand when it comes to anger is ill will. So just before you get angry, just before you become angry, you will understand that you are going to develop ill will. So then only you understand, okay, I may get angry, I might get angry, I will become angry. So if I had responded properly, I would have managed my ill will. So ill will is the normal generic thing to feel, that we will become angry. So that means if you take care of ill will, you won't develop any type of hatred, so that you will not be into patigha. That's what I wanted to share with you at this point. Okay. And another thing that I want to tell you is that in our normal perception, we know that the two types of aversion, which you call anger and hatred, sometimes people talk them synonymously, but I think there are some differences. Now when it comes to anger, like koda, what we can see is that there is a heated emotional state in which one tends to act impulsively. When you are angry, you show your emotions to other people. But when you have hatred, I don't think you show in the same way. People who have anger over the course of a long time, I would say for a period of time, they might not show that with some emotions, but they might, but not not in the same way like we can see when people angry. Okay, so basically when people are angry, we can see this impulsive behaviors, where we can see this heated emotional states, and we can also see different temperaments, like different characteristics of that particular person, where we can see there is rapid breathing, boiling the blood and clenching one's face, and all that. They are very manifest in those people who have anger. But when it comes to hatred, it's not so. Sometimes people are very cool, cold, and chilling out, but they're trying to strategically attack the other person. So that is hatred. So it's not overtly emotional. So, I mean, you can understand the other person is having hatred. But you need to understand that hatred contains the possibility of erupting into anger. So it may take you to anger, but it is not as same as anger at all times. But still, it will take you to anger. But we can see a difference. So you are emotionally reacting, responding to other people when you are angry. But when you have hatred, you are not responding the same way. But you may erupt into anger at different time later on. And we have a sutta, I think we did that in 2019 or 2018, called Cetva Sutta. In that sutta, Buddha says, Kodang Cetva Sukhang Seti, Kodang Cetvana Nasochati. Now, the reason is that I want to tell you some of very interesting quotations of Buddha about anger and anger management and the importance of metta. Kodang Cetva Sukhang Seti, Kodang Cetvana Nasochati. Kodassa visa mulassa maduraggassa devate vadang ariya pasang santi tanhi chetva nasochati. The meaning, having killed anger, you sleep in ease. Having killed anger, you do not grieve. The noble ones praise the slaying of anger with its honeyed crest and poisoned root. For having killed it, you don't grieve. Now, I have a nice kind of a perception, like a different kind of perception about looking at killing anger. So why does someone have to think about killing anger, right? So because killing, the word killing itself has some connotative meanings, I would say, has some hurtful thoughts. But some suttas say that one has to kill anger. But this is kind of a different type of, I would say, kind of a different type of killing. It's not the literal killing of something. So it's kind of that one has to think killing in the sense of abandoning, eradicating anger. It's not that literal meaning of anger, okay? So one has to get rid of anger at all times. So that will help you to sleep properly. That will help you not to grieve. That is the most important thing which the wise people, noble people praise. Because if the metta is the greatest kusala in the sutta text, we know that Buddha says that if someone can practice metta even for a split second, that the kusala karma, the skillful karma that particular person makes by practicing metta even for a split second is more than any other kusala karma, which means metta is the greatest. So what if someone is going to get rid of the opposite of metta? That means it is also metta. So that is the best, the most practice where the noble ones appreciate, noble ones praise. Okay, that is one quotation. The sutta is Cetva Sutta, Samyutta Nikaya 1.71. Another one is Dhammapada. There is a different chapter about anger, right? Kodava. I found out a very interesting, 3 quotations about anger. There Buddha talks about Kayapakopa, Vachipakopa, Manopakopa. Anger erupting in your body is said by Kayapakopa, which means we have anger in our body. Anger erupting in our speech is Vachipakopa, the way we deal with our words, our speech. Anger erupting in our mind, Manopakopa. Now we have to talk about these 3. Kayapakopa means anger erupting in our body. Do we have anger in our body? Yes. How do we know that? It is attached to our bodily actions. So Paṭisota, Adinadana, and Kamasa Miccāchāra. So if you are not practicing metta, if you are not bringing metta towards your the first precept, which you call the first, I would say the first kusala karma, when you don't bring metta towards Paṭisota Veramani, when you don't bring metta towards Adinadana Veramani, when you don't bring metta towards Kamasa Miccāchāra Veramani, which means your body has anger at that point. So that anger erupts in your body. How do we further explain that? Let's say you are saving everyone's life. You are not killing even an insect. Okay, so why you are not killing? Because you have metta. you are not taking what's not given. Why you are not stealing other people's things? Because you have metta towards properties, things of other people, because you love them unconditionally, so that you are not thinking to steal. So you have brought metta towards adinadana. I would say dinadana, right? The opposite. What about kamasumichachara? Why you are not misbehaving? Because you have metta towards other people, other people, right? You have metta for other people, right? So that means your whole bodily actions are, they are not erupted, right? They have no anger, which means your whole bodily actions have metta. What about vachipakopa? How can your speech be angry when you are not practicing metta towards your truthfulness, towards using good words, towards unity of people, beings, towards meaningful words, meaningful speech? That means you are not bringing metta towards your speech. So you have to take the opposite of the bad words, right? And then you have to bring metta towards them. That's how you are not making your speech angry. What about manopakopa? What are the good things we do with mind? Not having covetousness, not having ill will, not having wrong view. So if we bring metta towards not having covetousness, why I'm not trying to be covetous? Because I have metta towards other people things. I'm not trying to be stingy for other people things. How can I bring metta towards ill will? Because the opposite of ill will is that you have this metta practice, right? And then what about the sammaditthi? That means the opposite of micchaditthi. Why I want to bring metta towards sammaditthi? Because I know metta is what I have to practice when I'm having sammaditthi. So then only your mind is not angry. So Buddha says in 3 stanzas in the Dhammapada called Kodavagga, there is anger erupting in your body, kaya pakopa. There's anger erupting in your speech, called vachipakopa. There's anger erupting in your mind, called manopakopa. So that means we have to calm down the body, calm down the mind, calm down the speech. Okay. And loving kindness, metta. So the opposite of anger, venom. So what would be the best word for the non-venom? So it's not venom, right? So metta is not venom. So when you have metta, you don't have venom. That means you have brought your venom into a transformation. Your transformation is loving kindness. So that loving kindness thing is not creating building up any venom inside of you. Once you are into loving kindness, you are not creating venom inside of you. But if you still get angry, you have venom. Be careful, because you can give it to other people. What did Buddha talk about loving kindness? In many places we can see that Buddha highly prays about loving kindness. Even at the place where Buddha talks about every person has to be specifically practice loving kindness towards specific individuals, specific beings. That would be the best thing. With that, I also want to say that 11 benefits of practicing loving kindness. Can you remember what they are? I can think about a couple of them. Sukhang supati, you can sleep well. Sukham patibujjati, you can wake up well. I think a lot of people have a hard time in sleeping, right? Because they think a lot. Because I think they have a lot of venom. Because they have a lot of venom about people at work, people in their family, people in other places, people on the road. They have venom. They are building up venom, right? At a time we have to lower We have to highly lower the venom that we have, because why we want to create more venom? We already have venom. What we have to do is that we have to get rid of the existing venom. So if you practice metta by not increasing your venom, that means you can sleep well. You have no problem in your mind, and you can wake up comfortably. The pāpakang supinang pasati. Some people think dreaming is good. I don't think it's good, because when you dream, what happens to you? You are not sleeping well, right? So you won't sleep. You won't see nightmares. You will have a nice sleep. You will have a wonderful, very healthy sleep, right? Napapakang supinam pasati manusanam piyuhoti amanusanam piyuhoti. Humans are dear to you, and non-humans also dear to you, right? They like you, they won't bother you, right? Mukhavanno vipasitati, your complexion will be very wonderful, and totang chittang samadhiyati, you can concentrate your mind easier. You can focus on anything very fast. You don't need to struggle a lot. Some people take a lot of time. Some people, I'm not talking about some natural issues, but some people have a lot of things in their mind, on their mind, so they can't focus very fast, right? So there are other couple other benefits, like you won't be troubled by poisons and attacks, and you won't die unmindfully, what we call by what's the Pali word for that? Asammulo kalang karoti uttaring aparivijantu brahmaloku bhagavati, which means if you die without attaining any of the spiritual stages, you will be reborn in one of the Brahma worlds. See how many, I think this has the whole package. This is what we all need. I'm not saying that we need to wish for Brahma worlds, but just think about the first couple benefits. Why can't we sleep? Because we have anger. We have so much venom towards other people. Sometimes we have venom towards us too. Why we can't wake up comfortably, peacefully, right? Why do other people dislike us? Why do non-humans dislike, right? Why our face looks not bright? Why our face looks so, not fresh? Why we can't focus fast? So all these have a reason. So the reason is we are not practicing metta in a better way. You will practice metta as a meditation, but you have to bring metta into a whole different transformation. So I will tell you how to do that. A lot of people think practicing metta is just sitting down and then close their eyes, put in their palms each other, and then they're gonna do, may I be well happy. That's one way, but it is not enough. So the real metta practice is that you should be able to talk with metta. You should be act with metta. You should be able to think with metta. So that means it's a 365 practice. It's not just a sitting meditation. So you have to bring metta towards your action. You have to bring metta towards your words. You have to bring metta towards your thoughts. So that is real metta. Otherwise, you will sit and you practice metta and you stand up and you will do everything without metta. And then things like what happened to that monk also can happen, right? Because you don't keep it continuing in your mindset, right? So the main thing that what we've been talking so far is that there are 4 vipers. Āsīvisa means viper. Āsīvisa is vipers. So there are 4 people depending on how they get angry. So my suggestion for you is that don't get angry. Try to minimize your venom. Your venom is anger. Anger is venom. Buddha never used venom towards karma. Because what I understand in the suttas is that if you die with lobha, you will become a peta. But if you die with anger, you will definitely be born as a snake. This is what I know. So we don't need the both. We don't need to be born as a Peta or a snake. We want to be born as a human to practice Dhamma, or we want to finish our sansaric journey in this life. So decision is yours. Okay, so that's it. And so let me see any questions. At the death moment with unwholesome thoughts and unwise attention, yeah, one is reborn, especially as snakes, because we know a monk. Remember, there was a very good monk who was practicing his monkhood near a river. And what happened was that this monk, when he was dying, something came up to his mind, something he could have avoided. And then what happened? He had remorse. One of the Chaitasikas under dosa, dosa, issa, machariya, kukucha. So he had kukucha. Once he had kukucha, he hadn't done anything else, any other bad thing. And then what happened? He died with kukucha. He was reborn as a very large, like a big cobra in the same river. Which means if you have dosa, issa, envy or jealousy, stinginess, and remorse, and you die with one of these, you will definitely become a snake. So we don't want to bring our life into that kind of animal stage. We have to be kindful, and we have to practice metta towards all beings, but we should never bring any of these four when we die, including the lobha side and moha side. So the only thing we have to keep in our mind when we die is satipatthana, kayanupassana, vedananupassana, chittanupassana, dhammanupassana. No dosa, no machariya, no issa, no kukucha, no lobha, no ditti, no mana, no moha, right? No any of these bad chetasikas. Okay, so let's close this sutta discussion for now. So may all the good karmas we've been accumulating so far be shared by all the departed relatives who passed away in the name of all of us. May they be happy and peaceful. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. May all the good karmas be shared by all the deities, including Nagas. May they be happy and peaceful. In our reading, in our understanding, they are also lost in the samsara because they haven't attained Nibbana. So they also need to attain Nibbana. So may all the good karmas that we've been accumulating be shared by all the deities, Devas and Nagas. May they speed up their spiritual journey to attain Nibbana. May they be happy and peaceful. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana as well. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata cha ammihi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti sindhya akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu lokasasanang chirang rakhantu desanang chirang rakhantu mang paranti. Finally, let's make this great wish. We've been doing that all the time. May all the good karmas we've been doing so far, accumulating so far, be helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. I'm going to be blessing you with a couple more stanzas. Please receive the blessings. Abhivadana siddhisse niccang vaddha pachayino Chattaro Dhamma Vadhanti Ayuvanno Sukhang Balang Ayurarokya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Mevacha Ato Nibbana Sampatti Iminati Saminjatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dhamma friends, you know that we discontinued the Wednesday Dhamma Pariyasana series for now. Because I'm taking a break, and I think when things get ready in the future, I am planning to continue it back. I also want to tell you that if I you know, get time in the future. In the meantime, some of these distinguished individuals to have some insightful discussions. I will do them, you know, maybe I will do them at different times, and we'll upload them onto YouTube and Facebook too. So please stay tuned for any insightful discussions that you know that you don't know. Have a good night. Take care.